Thanks so much for taking a second to check out this quick video. I figured I'd, give you an idea kind of how this works and what we can do moving forward. I like to call this, my form of a seller presentation or a listing presentation. I try not to be pushy. I hate calling people and I hate feeling like I'm harassing them as much as, you hate getting the call. So I found it kind of just sending it over in this format has actually gotten, some very good response. People feel like it's less pushy. It's a little easier to digest. They can kind of get to it when they want. And it's unique and I like it to do it. So this is really what I would be saying to you if we were face to face in those boring 1 hour long presentations, right? I've condensed it down to about 20 minutes. It's only information, no fluff, and most importantly, I want to empower you with information so you can get your home sold while it's at its highest value, right? So if you've been thinking of selling your home, then you may have a few uh-oh moments while you're watching this because I am going to be brutally honest, but I do like to be upfront, and I also have solutions, so no worries, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, you might not want to watch, I always give this warning, right? You might not want to watch if you aren't ready for those real hard facts about the real estate market and how that relates to your home, right? Now, why would I say that? Because the only reason I'm even doing this video is simply that I know I can get you the money you want at the closing table, even though, you missed the peak selling market. And we can start scheduling as soon as you're ready, right? Now, that may sound bold to you, or it may even sound like, that same list your house with me junk that's been stalking your mailbox and your phone and, all over your social media, right? Well, this is what I like to tell people. I'm not the real estate agent that's all over billboards and bus benches all over town, begging to list homes. I don't even necessarily advertise me, my face. I advertise my systems and I target market, right? So I don't even like to say I list homes, I sell homes. I'm just at the closing table time and time again with homeowners that want to net as much as they can without all the ridiculous hassle, right? And a lot of times it's unconventional. They don't even, realize they can do things this way. But before we get into details, I just want to ensure you know a little bit about what's going on in your market, the current market, not a year ago, not 2 years ago, like last month, right? So here's some few facts that I feel like every homeowner needs to know. Starting with the market looks like it's going to plummet again. And that's according to Lawrence Yun, the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. And waiting a year or two to sell could very well mean, your home could be worth $30,000 to $50,000 or more less than it is today, right? Also, renting your house, renting your house out to a tenant is a horrible idea. This could cause it to be worth less money while also eliminating your ability to sell it in the future due to that, contractual obligation. Also, interest rates are projected to rise again at least 3 to 4 times over the coming 12 months, meaning it will price buyers out of your market range and it will cost you a lot more money in monthly payments for the same mortgage amount if you are buying another house. So if you're going to sell your home, closing on it right now will likely be the best way for you to get the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle, and people don't understand what that means until they get into the process and see how stressful it is, right? Also, your home will likely be one of the nicer homes when it does hit the market. And if you've been thinking of selling, then it probably already should have been sold and you should have moved on to your future plans, to be honest, right? So you'll find all of that news a little easier to stomach once you know that even with, all of your hesitation to selling your home, you can still get the price you want right now. And not only is that possible, but it's super attainable for you, right? So I gave you 6 quick facts, that you need to be aware of. I like to call them my 6 sobering facts, but let's get into a little more detail before I completely scare you off, right? I just really like to be open and transparent about the market and then provide real solutions, right? Now, the first fact, the market is gearing up for another significant drop in home values, right? We've been at the peak here and we're seeing a significant slowing in the market, right? And this is nationally. So this shouldn't be anything that alarms you as we're always going up or down. And that's just how, any market works. So if you look at the 4-year cycles, and that's kind of how real estate moves in 4-year cycles, we've experienced over the past couple decades, there's been tremendous swings in value, right? So from 2004 to 2008, that was the steady climb to the top, and those were times when everyone was cashing out of their homes by refinancing, right? Then from 2008 to 2012 we had that tremendous crash, right? And those that couldn't ride it out lost their home. And those that could were simply stuck in their home for several years without gaining any value, right? That's got to sound familiar, okay? So from 2012 to 2016, we had the crazy rise to the top again. And that's important to note. You got to remember that the 2016 values finally reached the peak that they hit in 2008 before the crash. Now, imagine a homeowner that didn't sell their home in mid 2008 because they were going to wait a year or two, to get more money. Now, not only did the market drop, as it always does, like I said, up and down, but it hit a rock hard bottom. And just now, 8 years later, rose, to that top value again. So it took 8 years to get back to the same number they could have sold for way back in 2008, when that was actually considered a lot more money, right? So then we witnessed a slight slowing of the market. And this was in 2017 as we began, another downward cycle. So you shouldn't mistakenly think that home values always go up, or worse, that they will from this point, right? So because there's always a peak before a valley. And right now, all indications tell us to advise homeowners of the coming changes. And this is from looking back, from about 2017, like I said, and then kind of forecasting into the near future, okay? So if history repeats itself, you won't wait there for, a year or two. It can be 8 years before it gets back to today's value. So, of course, nobody has a crystal ball, so we have to look at, market trends, number of sales, average prices, and the things that the industry pros research for us, right? And we certainly witnessed a slowdown in home sales and overall prices lately. That's something you can even check on yourself, right? So, second fact, the market has started to slow, right? And waiting to sell your home, like I said, can easily cost you $30,000 or more once you do decide to sell. As with most things in life, timing is everything, right? So unfortunately, many homeowners give up on their goal of moving simply because, they look at the market and their real estate agent or that friend that's been doing it for years or wherever they're getting their information from, right? They couldn't get them any real assurances on selling their home and finding their next home in this limited market. Look, real estate has changed, not the transaction, but the way we're getting people in and out of homes has changed. And only, agents who are current are getting that done. And it's changed forever, right? Most agents are going to treat you and your home as a commodity and wouldn't know how to find that next client or your next home if they weren't benefiting from just, years of doing it, right? Well, that's changed. And you need, obviously you need a better, more efficient route to get your home sold for top dollars quickly while netting even more money than you originally thought, right? A lot of agents, if they had to stop right now and restart their business with no phone, no sphere, they couldn't do it, right? So there's always a better way to do anything, and there's always a better way to sell. So let's sell your home right now while it's high and not when it's worth less, right? And you don't want to chase a downturning market if it continues to slide, as the industry insiders and recent data are telling us, okay? Third fact. If your current issue is, you wish your home was worth more money, you certainly don't want to let a renter into the house, okay? There's a significant chance it will be worth far less money, and you'll be stuck with, like I said, that contractual obligation, which is the lease, if you do need to pivot quickly, and then you can't sell your home until it's vacant again, right? Costing you months, of lost time and profit, right? So if the goal is to get rid of the house or get rid of the house and that monthly mortgage payment, it's best to do so right now with the home being sold as is, rather than, taking that huge hit later, okay? I know personally, we've seen far too many times that someone changes their selling plans, right? Gets a tenant in the home, and it becomes a financial and emotional nightmare from that point forward, okay? So if you don't have an investor mindset, and let's be honest, you never intended on being a landlord anyway, it's just much easier to simply sell for full market value now at the top of the market than to deal with, those kinds of issues and that up and down market for years to come, right? So, fourth fact, interest rates are projected to rise again 3 or 4 times continuously over the next year, right? So this hurts you in a couple of ways. First, as the rates go up, it begins pushing potential buyers out of your price range, right? Since people are qualified for that mortgage, based on total monthly payments. So as the interest rates go up, their buying ability goes down. And this then slows the market, causing prices to drop little by little, right? Causing the home sellers to lose a couple dollars little by little. And secondly, if you're thinking about buying another home for your family, that means your monthly payment would also be higher for the same price range on a house, right? With higher interest rates, you'll be stuck paying more over the course of the entire loan, right? Price and cost are very closely related, right? Don't forget about that. Fifth fact, as discussed, if you're selling any investment you own, regardless if it's a house, a portfolio of stock, classic car, high-end sneaks, right? It's best to sell when the market is at its peak, okay? Don't get stuck with that mental block or fold your arms across your chest and protest because things aren't going your way, okay? That is the fastest way to lose a lot of money by missing the perfect time to liquidate the asset, okay? There's no question that, in most areas of the country, home values have recovered to the prices, you could have received in 2008, right? And according to, like I said, chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, we've been seeing a slowing of the market in all four quadrants of the United States. I won't get into too much real estate speak, but this is not opinion, okay? This is fact based on actual real estate data, all right? Sixth fact, thousands of homes in your local market have sold since you originally thought of putting your house on the market. So yes, homes are selling, right? Your home will probably be one of the nicer ones when it does hit the market. So the issue is not likely the real estate market, but it's a mental thing, right? It's actually, how am I going to take all this value I've gained, find the exact home I want, and not spend it all on my next home, right? Well, we'll get into that in the second half and in a minute. So let's just take a second, right? So those are the details. Those are the 6 facts that I feel like every homeowner needs to be aware of. And that's regardless if you're going to list or not. But there's one very important, note that we need to touch. And again, it's probably why you're here. And that's getting top dollar, right? And I have to be honest with you, okay? People think I'm just going to set the price and the market is crazy and I'll get a bidding war going for my home because everybody seems to be, right? But that's a little bit of a misnomer, and I want to clear that up, right? People want turnkey, ready to move in homes with upgrades, right? And then they will pay a premium, right? So there's only 2 things that actually dictate the price of a home right now, right? And that's the market, okay? And the appraisal. So we gotta only deal with the imperial facts, right? And that's the things that we can look up, and justify a number, right? Because someone can offer you the most amount of money you can imagine for your life, in your life for your home, but they're likely going to need a loan. You know what I'm saying? And that loan is going to come with an appraisal, right? And that's something we can't control. That's what the lender requires in order to release those funds, okay? So in order to get the most for your home, it's got to be at the, the top, or at least, at least the top where you can get it so you can get the most for where your home is at, right? But what matters is not necessarily the price, but it's the exposure, okay? It's marketing. So you got to have a realtor, first with the personality that, meshes with yours, because I believe chemistry is super important. And you should too. Two, they got to have marketing skills. They got to have something other than just that listing your home that they can attach to the home to drive eyes to it. And in my case, again, it's the marketing. It's the perfect home finder. It's probably how you even found me, even from the seller side, right? I use target marketing, knowing that even sellers come into the market as buyers. And that's exactly how I got in front of you, right? And you should have some confidence in knowing that, right? Knowing that when we work together, okay, we're gonna leverage that marketing skill to get your home the most exposure to drive that price up, okay? You don't price at the top. You don't price at the top. You price competitively and you make your home look sweet. You give it all the exposure you can through marketing, and that's what drives the price up, okay? So that's important. We don't want to miss that, okay? So keep that in mind. I always drive that last point home to everyone, especially right now in this market, okay? So now you got the facts, and I feel like you can make an educated decision. It only makes sense to go with the rapid closing agreement to get top dollar and close quickly, right? With all that said, you're like, whoa, how did we get here, right? How did we get to a rapid closing agreement? What the heck is a rapid and closing agreement, right? Well, honestly, this is just what I found to be the fastest, easiest, and most profitable approach to you getting to the closing table, right? And that's, creating a sense of urgency with buyers and, you know, on your side. So everything, the faster everything moves, the more people tend to spend. Okay. So obviously what I do requires that I have a real estate license, but I'm more of a marketing specialist. That is required, you know, to have this license. So I do like to say the last thing I'd ever classify my closings as is something a typical real estate agent does, right? I'm interested in selling homes, not listing them in hopes that the random buyer will stroll by. That MLS, that Zillow system, that's dying, right? So if you're sincere about selling your property quickly or on your own timeline while ensuring you get every single penny you deserve, then this is something that will be of interest to you, right? You know, based on what we've already covered, it's clear that now is the time to sell, right? That's why I'm saying a rapid closing agreement, right? The big question is really who can make that happen for you immediately when the market is signaling a slowdown, right? Well, like I said, I feel confident that I can get your home sold under your terms, under your desired terms, and we will make it happen immediately without all the typical hassle, right? Now, I have to be clear, I probably accept, you know, 30% or less of the homeowners that contact us, right? Obviously, it's important for you to know that. So in the spirit of full disclosure, I'm sure you will understand that, you know, this isn't something that we publish for the public to see. This is a proprietary approach, and we don't want other people to have it, right? So this is what I'm saying. Yes, we can get you top dollar by listing your home on the MLS, for sure. Yes, we sell properties without listing them on the MLS, and we get, sometimes we get the homeowner much more money than they originally expected on the home. It's completely different. Again, yes, it's completely different than anything you've probably heard before, right? And that's because, you know, before your home gets on the market or in front of any potential buyer, I use demographic data, market trends, list sources, list brokers, and a number of other tactics to build the custom buyer audience for your property. And that's who I market your home to. So if it's off market, you have a pool of more than eager buyers who are looking to beat the competition with an off-market sale. So they're still willing to spend. If it's on the MLS, then we do the same thing with a massive coming soon marketing campaign to only buyers who are looking for your kind of property in your area. So yes, it's normal for you to be skeptical. I understand it. I encourage it. Every client I've ever got to the closing table started out the same way, right? But maybe the market, you know, hasn't met your expectations as far as, you know, your next home. And no agent has been able to clearly explain to you, you know, how to sell your home and get you into your next home, right? But I'm not going to allow that to stand in the way of you taking advantage of this market. And I know you won't either, right? I know you will absolutely love this target marketing approach, okay? And I'm telling you, it smokes the old school way of selling your home. That way is going by the wayside, okay? Everything is too instant. It's right here in your hand. So you may have already even tried it, or you may have decided against it. So this is why you're here. We simply just need to get together for about 20 minutes so that you can see how everything works, get all your questions answered, discuss closing date goals, and start thinking about, you know, where you may want to move to, right? So I can ensure you have plenty of time, you know, to find a place and make the move. So don't worry about that, right? We will make sure everything lines up perfectly for you. And that's a promise, right? So how do I back that promise up? I called it the boldest guarantee in real estate. I feel like I've been very valuable. I used to offer people $100 after the 20-minute meeting if I wasn't valuable with them, but this was the 20-minute meeting, and I feel like I've given you a ton of information. So my new guarantee is if I don't get your home sold in the first 24 days on the market, that means we are headed to closing, I will give you $3,000 back on our close, okay? So that's bold, and that's just the type of honesty and transparency I'm trying to bring to people. I can get your home sold that quick on or off market for top dollar. So what happens next, okay? There's no cost, no obligation whatsoever for us to get together to discuss some options, okay? You're right. Before we meet, I just like you to start, you know, thinking about the best time for you to close on, to close on your home, where you'd like to move to, and how much time you think you'll need, you know, to get all that together, and how much time you think you'll need after closing to get everything moved, right? So it's best to have all that worked out so I can ensure I can meet exactly what you're looking for, and so that I know I can take the project on, okay? If needed, I can even help you with finding your next place, again, with unlisted properties that you won't find anywhere else, because again, I target only to the home you want, okay? So here's what happens next, okay? Call my office, set up a time for us to get together. It's got to be there at your place. I'll personally come out and take a quick tour, and then we'll talk about some options to getting you all cash at closing, okay? We can't handle everything over the phone. We actually can't handle anything else over the phone, right? As I haven't seen your house yet to know if it's even a project I can accept. So let's set up a time for me to stop out. Let's see about coordinating a time frame for closing. I work evenings and weekends too, so I'm sure we can find something that makes sense for us to get together, right? But I do need to see the home, right? That's the only bit of pushiness you're gonna get from me. I can't sell it without seeing it. So you can call my office right now at 301-455-0535. If you're on the website, you can use a no talk form. However you need to, comment, DM, however you need to book, a time to meet and it makes sense for you. Let's get your home sold while you can still get top dollar. And if you skipped all the way to the end just to find out what all this is about, like I would have, then here's the scoop, okay? I'm interested in putting a rapid closing agreement together to sell your home immediately while the market is still at its peak, okay? And if you need a new home, I will find off-market homes for you that no one else knows is for sale using that target marketing approach and my proprietary Perfect Home Finder program, okay? Now, I'd like you to think about approximate closing dates and how long it will take you to move out of the home before we get together, all right? If that interests you and you need a little bit more information, take your butt back to the beginning of the video. Watch the whole video, then give me a call if and we can agree to meet in tour your home like I talked about in the video. Now, I may not be, the agent you were looking for, but I got in front of you for a reason, and I'm confident I'm the agent you need. Okay, so let's get to the closing table. 301-455-0535, Solomon.